ain't never check into nobody.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Just go to their hotel and move militant.
I believe people play with people intelligence the way they play with people intelligence and intellect. You know, the way they do today. You know, people are telling lies for a living. You know what I mean?
You know what's to me? There's a who pick who he be fight with.
Right.
Like you sit and you go, oh, I'm not going because this nigga. Yeah, I think I can take him.
Right.
And when you move around the city, bro, you gotta be careful. And that's just, we dealing with G-Unit. Had a lot of drama.
Oh, you thought a 50 Cent concert was just about music? Think again, this wasn't a tour stop. It was a full-blown gangster documentary live on stage. The night started with lights, bass, and champagne vibes, but by the end, security was ducking, entourages were circling, and the crowd was screaming like they'd just seen a scene from Power Turn Real. Reports say J Prince's camp rolled in deep. And when I say deep, I mean it looked like the Avengers. If the Avengers wore designer chains and moved in silence like they were collecting street taxes, people online are calling it the most chaotic concert since Travis Scott's Astroworld. But this one had real street politics baked into it. Sources claim the tension between 50 and J Prince's circle had been simmering for months, and last night, that pressure cooker finally exploded. You could feel the energy shift. One wrong look turned into a domino effect of chaos. This wasn't just a concert, it was hip-hop history combusting in real time. Cameras were rolling, phones were out. And what went down might just be the most jaw-dropping crossover between rap beef and street diplomacy we've seen all year. The night started like a typical 50 Cent extravaganza, flashing lights, champagne bottles popping, fans chanting "Get rich or die tryin'," and a crowd packed tighter than a sneaker drop line in Harlem. But underneath that electric energy, there was a quiet tension vibrating through the air. You could feel it. It wasn't just hype, it was heat. Word around the venue was that some familiar faces from J Prince's camp had touched down, and they didn't come for the music. They came ready. Now, if you know anything about the unspoken rules of hip-hop hierarchy, you know J Prince doesn't move without purpose. The man's been the godfather of Houston for decades, respected, feared, and treated like hip-hop's silent CEO. So when his people walk into a 50 Cent show unannounced, you already know this isn't a coincidence. It's a message, a reminder that certain names still carry weight in the streets, no matter how many Grammys or TV shows someone racks up. Let's rewind this chaotic movie a bit. This tension didn't start on stage. It started online, like every modern-day beef that ends up going viral. A few months back, 50 Cent made a slick comment during an interview, throwing shade at some old heads in the South who still think they run the game. He didn't name drop, but come on, everyone knew who he meant. Hip-hop fans decoded that shade faster than a Reddit detective. Screenshots flew, clips spread, and soon the whispers turned into full-blown drama. J Prince's camp responded the quiet way, not through interviews, not through social media. Nah, they let presence do the talking. And at that concert, presence came in the form of luxury cars, bulletproof stairs, and matching black fits that screamed, "We're not here for selfies." Fans standing near the VIP entrance said the moment they walked in, the vibe flipped instantly. The crowd went from "in da club" to "in da trouble." Even 50's security was scanning the floor harder than T-Saudade as the show started. 50 was doing what he does best, trolling, flexing, and performing like he owned the city. But you could see that signature smirk fading every time he glanced towards stage right. Something, or rather, someone had thrown him off his rhythm. He cracked a few jokes between songs, maybe to diffuse the tension, but you could hear the nervous edge in his laugh. The man who roasted everyone from Ja Rule to Floyd Mayweather suddenly looked like he was calculating escape routes. Then came the turning point. Somewhere between Mini Man and Window Shopper, a small group started arguing near the barricades. No punches yet, just raised voices, but those voices carried weight. According to multiple witnesses, someone from 50 East team tried to clear the area around the stage, telling J Prince's associates to move back. That's when everything went left. One of the Houston reps allegedly stepped forward and said, "Ain't nobody telling us where to stand." That single line was the spark that lit the fuse. Security swarmed instantly. Fans started backing up. People's phones shot up faster than 50's stock in vitamin water. And before anyone could blink, the peaceful concert had transformed into a verbal standoff drenched in street tension. You could feel decades of unspoken history hanging in the air: East Coast dominance versus Southern respect. It was hip-hop politics in its rawest form. Word spread like wildfire through the crowd. "Yo, Jay Prince's people here," one fan yelled. "They ain't playing." Suddenly, the concert felt less like entertainment and more like an episode of hip-hop Homeland. People weren't watching 50 perform anymore, they were watching him survive. His entourage huddled close. The DJ turned the music down, and for a split second, the mic picked up 50 saying something to his team that sounded a lot like "tighten up." Social media caught every frame. Within minutes, Twitter and TikTok were lit up with captions like "50 Cent concert turns into street summit." And Jay Prince energy took over the building. One clip showed 50 pacing the stage with his hand in his pocket, eyes darting like he was reading invisible cue cards from the universe. The fans were eating it up, but insiders were whispering, "This ain't no performance. This is real." What's wild is that Jay Prince himself wasn't even in the building, at least not visibly. But his shadow loomed over every second of that night. That's how powerful his name is. You don't have to show up when your reputation walks in before you. Everyone knew it. You could almost hear people saying, 50 better keep it cute before this becomes a Houston headline. And yet, in true 50 fashion, he tried to reclaim control of the chaos. He cracked the mic and said, "We got love for everybody tonight, even the ones who came here with bodyguards instead of tickets." The crowd half laughed, half gasped. It was classic 50, that blend of confidence and sarcasm that's both genius and dangerous. But the problem? That one-liner didn't calm things down. It poured gasoline on an already burning stage. The crew from Jay Prince's side didn't take it as humor, they took it as disrespect. And from that moment on, every move, every look, every lyric became a test. Was 50 going to double down or dial it back? Was this about to turn from rap royalty to real-life warfare? Fans didn't come to see a battle, but that's exactly what they got, not in lyrics, but in energy. The whole place vibrated with tension, like the building itself knew it might witness history. The DJ switched to calmer tracks, security whispered into walkie-talkies, and somewhere backstage, someone was definitely calling extra reinforcements. This wasn't just a performance anymore. This was 50 Cent versus the streets, live and unscripted, and the world was watching. The internet didn't sleep after that concert, it exploded. Within hours, clips from 50 Cent's chaotic show were circulating faster than rumors in a group chat. Every angle, every shaky iPhone video, every muffled shout, people were analyzing it like detectives breaking down a Zapruder film. The narrative split into factions. Some swore 50 was outnumbered but fearless, while others said he almost got pressed into early retirement by Jay Prince's camp. Either way, one thing was clear: the night was now legend.by morning. The memes were merciless. Someone posted a photo of 50 performing with the caption, "When you realize the crowd ain't clapping, they creeping." Another showed Jay Prince's crew walking in slow motion, titled "When the Real Bosses Clock In." It was internet gold chaos packaged as comedy, but beneath the laughter was real tension, because everyone in hip-hop knows when Jay Prince's name enters the chat, jokes turn serious fast. This wasn't just two artists bumping egos. It was two empires brushing shoulders. 50's empire loud, flashy, media-hungry versus Jay Prince's empire quiet, calculating, respected in all the wrong rooms. Fans said it felt like Power versus The Godfather, except no one was acting. The online debates got wild. Some said 50 should have handled it behind closed doors. Others argued Jay Prince's camp showed up just to send a message. Don't play with Houston's respect. It was like watching two nations flexing their nukes through Instagram stories. Meanwhile, 50's social media fingers were itching. He started posting cryptic captions, photos from the concert with lines like, "We good over here," and "Don't ever get it confused." You could practically smell the petty energy radiating through Wi-Fi. But he didn't tag anyone. That's how you knew it was strategic, subtle enough to trend, sharp enough to sting. Then came the twist. A backstage worker leaked audio from the dressing room, and it made everything worse. In the clip, someone sounding a lot like 50 could be heard saying, "They ain't scaring nobody. This New York energy different." Fans went insane. That one sentence turned a local misunderstanding into a national headline. It wasn't just an incident anymore, it was a turf war between East Coast confidence and Southern authority. You could feel hip-hop's old regional rivalries crawling out of the grave. Every outlet wanted a piece. TMZ, Complex, The Shade Room all dropping exclusive updates like it was a boxing match. J. Prince's response to 50 Cent incident became the trending headline of the week, even though J. Prince himself hadn't said a word. His silence was scarier than any tweet. Fans said, if J. Prince quiet, that means something's brewing. Then, out of nowhere, one of J. Prince's sons posted a cryptic Instagram story, a simple black screen with the words, "Respect is a two-way street." That's it. No names, no tags. But the internet didn't need context. Everyone knew exactly who that was aimed at. The comment sections filled up instantly. 50 better chill. This ain't TV beef. The streets don't do captions. At this point, everyone in 50's circle was allegedly on edge. Reports said he doubled his security for the rest of the tour, even switching hotels last minute. But in typical 50 Cent fashion, he turned the fear into fuel. He made it content. During his next show, he told the crowd, "If you scared, stay home. I perform for gangsters and gods only." The audience lost it. It was raw, cocky, vintage 50. But behind the jokes, people could see the nerves. He wasn't taking any chances. The internet treated the situation like a Netflix season finale. Threads popped up titled, "Who Sent Who?" The real meaning behind J. Prince's message. And 50 vs. the South. Round 2 loading. Analysts, fans, and wannabe insiders all started crafting their own theories. Some claimed the tension went deeper, that 50 had been trying to buy into a Texas-based business deal that clashed with Prince's network. Others said it was pure ego, just two alpha figures marking territory. Meanwhile, artists who usually stayed quiet started dropping indirect reactions. Rick Ross, who has his own history with 50, posted a laughing emoji under a meme that said, "J. Prince don't do interviews. He sends invitations, even boozy weighed in," saying during a live stream, "Ain't nobody out slickin' J. Prince. You better move smart." In them Texas streets, it wasn't threats. It was wisdom disguised as warning. And then the footage nobody was supposed to see. Leaked a close-up clip from backstage right before the chaos erupted. You could clearly see one of J. Prince's associates stepping up to 50's team, and though no one swung, the tension was undeniable. The clip hit millions of views in hours. Fans started analyzing body language like FBI experts. "Look at 50's eyes," one commenter said. "He knew it was serious." Another wrote, "This wasn't beef. This was a chess match." The wildest part, the police report from that night claimed no altercations occurred, just verbal misunderstandings. But fans weren't buying it. You don't send a dozen men in bulletproof vests for a misunderstanding. You send them for presence. It was psychological warfare, power versus perception. What made it also addictive was how cinematic it felt. Everyone watching felt like they were seeing two different eras of hip-hop collide: the flashy mogul who built his empire on chaos, and the silent king who built his on control. One moves through headlines, the other moves through whispers. And that night, both worlds collided on one stage, under one spotlight, in front of thousands of witnesses and millions more watching online. And while everyone debated who won, the truth was obvious. Nobody walks away from J. Prince's presence untouched. 50 might have finished a concert, but the tension didn't leave the building. Because in this game, the real battles don't end when the lights go out, they just move underground, where silence says more than any diss track ever could. Be why the next morning, hip-hop was officially on fire. Every gossip blog, podcast, and livestream host had turned into a detective overnight. The hashtags #50 Cent Show Chaos and #J Prince Energy were trending like wildfire. You couldn't scroll for 2 seconds without seeing shaky footage of the altercation, dramatic voiceovers, and titles like 50 Cent almost pressed. Houston sends a message. The concert wasn't just news anymore, it was history in motion. A headline that refused to die. And here's where things went nuclear. Fans began picking sides like it was a heavyweight title fight. One side crowned 50 Cent the unbothered legend who stood tall in the middle of chaos. The other said J. Prince's name alone carried more power than an entire security team. Twitter threads turned into mini essays breaking down the psychology of the moment. 50 runs the internet, one fan wrote, but J. Prince runs real life. It was the modern war of image versus influence. And both sides had their armies. Behind the scenes, insiders whispered that phone calls were being made quiet, private, and extremely strategic. No one wanted this tension spilling further. Some said 50's camp reached out to mutual industry figures to cool things down. Others claimed J. Prince's team was already several steps ahead, making sure the world understood that they weren't the aggressors, they were the reminder. In this industry, power isn't about who yells the loudest. It's about who doesn't have to. Still, the damage was done. The media started drawing wild comparisons. This makes the Drake vs. Meek beef look like playground drama. Even Charlamagne tha God chimed in on The Breakfast Club, calling it a clash of two different codes. He said, 50 built his brand off chaos, but J. Prince built his off order. When chaos meets order, the universe gets uncomfortable. Fans agreed it wasn't just about music anymore. It was about legacy. Meanwhile, 50 Cent, true to form, couldn't resist turning it into marketing. He dropped a line of tour merch reading, "We good over here Tour 25," and posted photos from the Chaos Night with captions like, "Y'all thought it was smoke. I thought it was promotion." Classic 50 trolling his way out of tension. But that move only added fuel to the fire. Bloggers accused him of mocking the streets. Fans from Houston flooded his comments with "Respect the South" memes and snake emojis. The man had turned a PR disaster into a digital war zone. The Houston media wasn't playing either. Local outlets started dissecting the story from their own angle, defending J. Prince's name, reminding the world of his decades of contribution to hip-hop, and calling out outsiders for misrepresenting Houston culture. Suddenly, this wasn't just about 50 anymore. It was about the image of an entire city, the pride, the legacy, the code of respect that's been part of Texas hip-hop since the beginning. And whether he wanted it or not, 50 had stepped into territory where words traveled differently. Then, the most unexpected twist, a leaked clip surfaced days later of 50 on a private jet saying, "Ain't nobody press me. I press the narrative." The internet lost its mind. Fans called it the ultimate power move, while others saw it as pure delusion. But either way, it kept his name in every headline. 50 was controlling the story like he was writing another season of Power. He wasn't scared, he was spinning. J. Prince, on the other hand, broke his silence in the most J. Prince way possible. Calm, calculated, and terrifyingly polite. He posted a photo on Instagram with the caption, "Real men don't perform for applause. They move for principle. No names. No shade, just authority." The post went viral. That single line felt like a mic drop from someone who never raises his voice. It was quiet thunder, the kind that shakes the ground without warning. In the days that followed, both sides went eerily silent. No interviews, no tweets, no more sources close to the situation. That silence was louder than any threat. Fans knew what that meant. This wasn't over. It was just off the grid now. You could almost sense the tension freezing, waiting for the next move. Because in hip-hop, no one ever truly squashes beef. They just let it simmer until someone drops the wrong line. The aftermath hit like a hangover. Venues tightened security. Promoters whispered about insurance clauses. Artists started publicly pledging peace and unity like they were signing moral contracts. But the truth? Everyone was watching, waiting to see if this cold war between two titans would heat up again. It was more than gossip now, it was legend being written in real time. And through it all, one undeniable fact emerged. Hip-hop may have evolved, but its DNA never changes. Respect still rules everything. 50 might dominate headlines, But J Prince dominates silence, and silence is the deadliest weapon in this game. So as the smoke clears, fans are left asking, who really won? Was it the mogul who turned mayhem into memes, or the kingpin who reminded everyone why his name still echoes in whispers? Maybe the answer's somewhere in between. Because in this world, there are two kinds of power, loud and quiet, and that night, both proved they still run the culture. The stage lights might have gone out, but the story's still shining. Every repost, every rumor, every whispered detail, it all feeds the legend. And somewhere out there, both men are smiling. 50, because he knows chaos keeps him trending. J Prince, because he doesn't need to trend, he already owns the narrative. And that's the real plot twist. This wasn't just a concert gone wrong. It was a masterclass in dominance, influence, and the art of keeping your enemies dancing to your beat, even when the music stops. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the chaos that made hip-hop history the night 50 Cent's show turned from party mode to power struggle. One stage, two legacies, and enough tension to light up an entire block. This wasn't just a concert gone left, it was a cultural collision. The mogul who profits from mayhem met the mastermind who moves in silence. And for a few electrified minutes, the entire rap world stopped breathing. So now, the question's on you: who really walked away with the crown? Was it 50, the fearless troll king who laughs through the smoke? Or was it J Prince, the chess player who doesn't even need to move a piece to control the board? Drop your verdict in the comments, because this debate might never end. And you know we're diving deep into every twist right here. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button harder than 50 hits a punchline. And turn on those notifications, because at Truth Tattle, the drama doesn't sleep, and neither do we. We're dropping fresh scandals, untold stories, and behind-the-scenes leaks that make TMZ look like nap time. Smash that like button like you're breaking up a backstage fight. And share this video with your crew, because the next chapter in this saga might already be unfolding while you scroll. Around here, the truth doesn't just come out, it kicks the door down in designer shoes. Stay loud, stay skeptical, and stay locked into Truth Tattle, where gossip meets gospel and every headline burns brighter than the spotlight. Because in this world, legends don't retire, they just reload. See you in the next scandal.